Hello. I think it was the best movie in the franchise. It was definitely better than the original Jurassic World. I'm not sure if I think it was better than Jurassic Park itself. Honestly, I don't think it was. I think it was around the same quality as The Lost World, which up until now had been the best Jurassic movie. So yeah, that's a really good thing, really interesting. Now, as you saw, I worked some more on the Huayangosaurus exhibit. Now I'm going to release the Huayangosauruses that I have in here, and then I'm gonna use the ACU to move them to the other exhibit. An interesting thing to note about these guys is that they are in fact the first stegosaurs I have in my park. Even though there's definitely more famous species of stegosaur that I could potentially get later on. They're also very shiny, almost as if they have, well, amphibian skin, which I guess is true, although I think that's kind of a lame in-universe explanation for why they have a far more reptilian-esque skin. And it's also rain.
Another member of the Stegosaurians.
It's the first one. But yeah, it's also raining, so that's probably also making them more shiny. One thing about Fallen Kingdom, by the way. I really liked it as a movie. Again, I really did. But I feel like the first part, the part on the island, was very hurried, you know? It was like, oh, here is that part, and like I didn't feel like I could invest into the characters as much as I might have if that part had been, say, twice as long. Because then we could have really gotten to know the characters, really gotten to know the conflict. And now it just felt like they were rushing towards the mansion. Which honestly was a very interesting part of the movie, and I think it was the perfect length. So I really think the movie as a whole should have just been longer. And that would have just made for a much more interesting dynamic. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure other people have different opinions. Maybe I'm very unique in thinking this. I don't really care, I just think like this. I do have an ACU, right? No, I do not have an ACU, it seems. So I'll need to build one. And I don't really want the Huayangosaurus to be with the other North American herbivores for too long. Simply because it's not a North American species and would be. And it's also from the Jurassic, not from the Cretaceous, so it would kind of feel like a zoo that has an African savanna but also keeps camels or bison or whatever on there, and I would also not like that very much. So now I do have to clear this area out a little. Okay, apparently that just adds scraps, doesn't do anything else. I kind of forgot how this game works. Because this seems like a good place for the ACU. obstructed all the way there. Oh yeah, I'll have to make that lake smaller. Ah. The original Struthi has died.
Life begets death. But here's the question that you gotta ask yourself. Was this avoidable? The answer? Of course not. Death, it's always coming. But could you have delayed it? Well, that's maybe another story.
Yeah, so the original Struthi is dead, and that leads the game to basically tell you, oh yeah, this animal has died, and basically what are you gonna do with it? Okay, so apparently I can't place the path perfectly the way, the building perfectly the way I want, which is too bad, so I'll just have to place it a little bit differently from the way I wanted it. The dead dinosaur is in fact the original natural colored Struthiomimus. I will breed a new one, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's dead. You know, of course you don't want your dinosaurs to die. But I was also kind of... I know this is kind of a weird word to use for it, but I was kind of counting on it dying, you know. I was already surprised it had stuck out for this long, because most people in their playthroughs, their Struthiomimus dies in like episode 2, so... Maybe it's just that my game is much slower than most people's. That might be part of the reason. I see it. I want some more forest here. Uh-oh. That is one annoying thing. If I click with my mouse, this game doesn't always properly register it. Especially in those little menus down here. Yeah, yeah. Alright, so we now have a... Oh, we'll soon have a well-powered viewing gallery. And I also saw I had some fossils. So let's get those going. So that next time I dig up a Huayangosaurus, or next time I have to incubate a Huayangosaurus, I'll have a much more complete one. And I'll just fully deplete the Huayangosaurus' locality. I don't really mind that much. Now we also see our, well, our remade Gallimimus, or Struthiomimus really. Bandicam did something really weird there, but yeah, it's a neat little animal. I enjoy having it in my park. I just generally enjoy having these small little animals. Alright, I can add some tasks. Yeah. Alright, so the dinosaurs can die. I want this guy and this guy tranquilized.
Adding task. Task proceed.
Alright. So now it actually registered that. And then I can transport the dead dinosaur away.
Picking up asset.
And I guess I'll call it an episode when I have fully finished building this enclosure, or when the Huayangosaurus are in there. Yes, I want to place a ground herbivore feeder. Basically in full view of the viewing gallery so that visitors can watch the animals as they eat. Of course I want to have a gate so my ranger team can feed my animals. And they're currently mostly just causing the animals to panic. I hope they'll make the animals happy real quickly. In the meantime, I can talk a little more about Fallen Kingdom. Honestly, the Interruptor was
Transporting asset.
maybe not the best. At least I think maybe not the best. Villain in a Jurassic Park
Asset collection request received.
movie. I kind of thought it was a little dull that they had basically the Indominus Rex again. But I did really like the human villains. They were people who had started off idealistic, or at least the guy, you know, the main guy on the in the mansion, who also murdered the old guy. He had started off kind of idealistic and then had grown money hungry and just evil. And that I think was very interesting. Was a very interesting thing to do. My apologies, I have a little bit of hay fever. So yeah, I thought the Indoraptor I thought was kind of boring simply because it was basically the Indominus Rex but smaller. It wasn't very new in my opinion. But I did like the human villain simply because his basically the fact that he had gotten rid of his idealism I think that was interesting. And I like how basically it was his greed and the greed of his clients that eventually led to big problems. And that eventually led to basically Ian Malcolm testifying and saying, yeah, this is gonna go horribly wrong because now we have dinosaurs basically loose in the world. We don't know what's gonna happen. It was also nice foreshadowing for the next movie to see Blue kind of running into an American suburb. That I felt was
Asset has been collected.
was a very interesting way to have it end, kind of. Now I do wonder where my Huayangosaurus is. Oh, that was the first one, yeah. Alright. And as far as the heroes go in the movie, I didn't like all of them that much. Franklin I found kind of annoying. Owen and Claire, they got more character development.
I've looked this gig over. You should too.
No, I'm just gonna stick with science until I have the Crichtonsaurus. I should definitely request more contracts.
I want to take this contract, which means you want to take it too, correct?
Since I won't have any more Matanceros for any time soon, and I do want to build a herd of those, I'll just incubate 2 of them. But yeah, it was an interesting movie. Again, I found Franklin kind of annoying. Maisie I found interesting because of the fact that like human cloning had not been addressed yet in the show. Despite the fact that it was obviously a very interesting thing to speculate about. So that was something I really enjoyed. They find their population a bit low, but overall they seem to be doing well. And they like their environment. Okay. Nice. But yeah, I found the human cloning idea of it I found really interesting. I'll do a Ceratosaurus so I can also take that picture. When I have the money for it. But yeah, that was my thoughts on Fallen Kingdom. So I found that the first part was a bit rushed. Why? Oh yeah, and I also really liked Zia, the vet girl. I really liked her. She fell into a few standard tropes that I'm usually a little annoyed by. But overall she was actually an interesting character, especially since she was... How should I put this? Like, it's a nicer version to see someone who says they can do stuff and then they can actually do it. Like, she was introduced as a vet, and you kind of see it often that like, nah, how should... But kind of felt like they were going for making her kind of inept. And I really like that they didn't do that, because that would have been boring to say the least. And I just... Owen and Claire, they got some development, but less than I liked. Franklin I kind of found annoying. Maisie I found very interesting because of the human cloning thing. Then as far as the villains went, I found the hunter guy a carbon copy of the Roland Tembo. And that's all I have to say about that. I found the businessman guy and the auctioneer guy, I both found them interesting because they were kind of like, what if a greedy capitalist who wouldn't mind investing in the military, helping the military, what if they got their hands on this tech or on these animals? And I found the Indoraptor itself also kind of a boring copy of the Indominus Rex. And the plot I found well developed, but I feel like I wanted to see more of the island plot. And that's basically all I have to say about Fallen Kingdom. If you like Jurassic Park, definitely go watch it, it's a good movie. And with that, and with the release of this Matanceros, I say, see you next time.